What? Where you going? Where you going? She's so mean.
Started. Hello, everybody. I'm going to give you just 2 more minutes to grab your food and grab a seat so we can get started. And you can grab this food. Yes, please. Everybody go to your work. You have your Make It Happen. That's your sheet that you're going to use to work on. And make sure you grab a feedback form. I am working on my instructor's license, so I do need everybody's feedback. I have to get so many forms in for direct and for PW. I'm working on it, so. I appreciate your support and assistance. And we, I don't scan. I don't all the time, but when I have to go to that form, I will. So I'm pleased to be honest because it'll help make me a better instructor. Okay. So.
How are you? That's nice.
Oh, that's fine. I'll need to wet right now. So you are at Know Your Big Why. That's in our class today. I'm going to introduce myself. I think almost everybody knows me. But in case you don't, my name is Tanaya Peters. Tanaya Peters Johnson now. I got married this year.
So which are you going to use? Are you going to use both?
I'm sticking with Tanaya Peters, but I like to, when I can add that Johnson on that.
Okay, just so we know how to find you.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I think you can start. I call you Naya. So I think what's cool is when you talk about you just got married, I think you need to tell them what you just the trip you just took and who you are. I think you're kind of a rebel.
Oh, am I a rebel? Okay. You know, I forgot my tears and he's gonna interrupt. I had my whole little spiel ready.
That's why you have to have an agenda.
Yes, so my spiel, so yes, I got married in March. We went to Costa Rica, I got married. Just a small little ceremony with 17 people. So that was our ceremony. And then, so we went to Costa Rica, so we didn't really have, that was like our honeymoon. And then we decided to take a trip to California on the back of his motorcycle. So we rode from Atlanta to Cali. Who we saw. And we saw the Grand Canyon, we stopped in Texas, we went to the beach in California. So yeah, we took a little road trip. We made it back in one piece. We did hit a pickup on the ride home. We hit a bump in the road, literally figuratively. And so we cracked the rim on the front and back of the motorcycle, flat both of our tires. And so what I didn't know until after my husband takes his time and pulls the Harley off the road and parks it. And I'm like, why are you taking like 10 minutes to park the Harley? He goes, oh, you don't know? You know what? So we just flattened both tires so it won't stand up on its own.
Right.
So he's like, I need you to see it right
You gotta
here.
stay right where.
So I sat there and held up this 950-pound Harley. But myself, oh, he calls the tow truck. So that was my story. That's my, oh, that hurts my hurt.
And you made it back safe and sound.
Yes, made back safe and sound. So back to me. I've been a teacher for the last 4 years. I have taught and coached over 50 new agents on how to create their own businesses, and how to start off as an agent, right? Kind of tough in the beginning. You don't know what forms to use, how to fill them out, how to do an open house. So I have fun doing that a little bit. My goal last year, the goal actually last year, I was top producer, which if you don't know what top producer is, you have to work for $1 million or higher. And so that was my goal for the year, was to get to 5 million. I produced 5.2 million, which was a huge goal for me. That was huge. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that. Starting an Airbnb, getting married, and achieving a personal savings goal of 30% of my income, which is what allowed me to get my Airbnb. So those were the goals. That's what thinking about reevaluating my big why every year. That's what it can help me to. Goals that are huge, goals that are big enough to scare you, right? So I can really save 30% of my income. Can I really get $40,000 and buy an Airbnb? Right? Can I do that? And yes, you can. So I'm going to challenge you today to think about your big why and take it to the next level. When you answer that question for me, I'm going to ask you to ask yourself why again. Scare yourself. Make big dreams, big goals, and they will happen. So now I'm going to ask you, to achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it. Your big why. What stirs your soul? And I want answers to these questions, right? So this is interactive. You guys, I like to talk a lot. My husband tells me that I don't know how to close my mouth. But today I'm going to try, and I want you guys to answer me. So I'm going to ask these 3 questions, and I'll ask them again. I want somebody just shout them out, raise your hand, whatever makes you comfortable, okay? What stirs your soul? Why are you in this business? What do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? So what stirs your soul? What excites you? My part. You girls. Travel. Oh, that's me. My kids in travel. Yes. Anything else? So y'all are not excited. So y'all don't have to real estate business. I'm telling you, if you're not excited about something, if you don't get up every morning with passion behind something, your business suffers. And I didn't realize that. I've taken this class so many times, and I did the activity, and I put it in my bag. And I didn't realize that I had to apply my passion, people's success in my business. So I'm challenging you now to start thinking about what you're passionate about. So the answers to these questions are the basis to your big why. We don't do that. And if you're in Zoom, you guys do have this link. I put it in the chat box. So you can pull this up.
Did you put it in recently?
I did, Ron.
Well, if they signed in later, they might not see it.
Somebody knows this better than well, I guess Art or Daddy tell me if you don't have the Zoom, if you don't have the list.
It should still be in the chat. if you put it-
Yeah.
It could be over there.
You said you don't see it.
You only see it from when you sign in.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Over
Maybe you have to expand where the people,
here.
yeah, yeah,
There's nothing.
yeah. Let's see if we go more. The three dots.
This one. Over here. Right there. Yeah, they could be able to see it.
We'll get back to that.
Okay. Okay, so we're talking about our passion for our whole life. Anyone can achieve goals and set in course, but not everybody will. The journey requires discipline and commitment to follow models, systems, and a schedule every day. It requires passion towards something bigger than the task at hand. Passion towards your big why. First, have a big why built around your passion and follow the models that you learn in the course. Keep doing it and you will achieve grand success. So we have passion for our big why, plus following the model, plus task over time equals success. Top agents can and do articulate your big why, and you'll be able to as well. A big why is what keeps them going when they're tired, bored, or disappointed. It's the spark that ignites their way every day. Your big why might be to have financial success, tied directly to your efforts instead of a salary controlled by the opinions of the boss. My husband says I cannot work 9 to 5. To build your own business, to achieve a life through your business. So, my big why. My big why are my kids. I got divorced 2016. I was a teacher, had 3 kids, I became a stay-at-home mom. So getting divorced as a stay-at-home mom, it's huge, right? I went back to school, took a part-time job, making like $22,000 a year. And I had to support these kids. And so I decided that after my daughter had an illness that required her to be homeschooled, and I had to stay home, and I needed to change jobs. I needed to figure out a more flexible career, one that was going to help me be home and yet make more than $25,000 a year. And so that's when I decided to get my real estate license. So, you know, I get my license February. Okay, and I found it. March. It's April, and March started to be. And so I would go through this class, you know, go through like my big why and why I need to do this. And so I realized that my kids were my big why, but also I wanted to provide a house for us. So we were living in a townhouse at the time. And so tonight I decided that it was a good idea to go buy a $300,000 house. And that $22,000 job, yeah, I have no longer had because I had to stay home with my daughter. So I lost that job. I now have a $300,000 house, a $1,900 home mortgage that I have to pay. And that's a scary place to be when you're, you know, just 3 months into real estate. And so that was my big why, was not making a mortgage. I made a out of bed. Yeah, I made a commitment to myself that I was never going to miss a mortgage. And so that was my big why. And the first year was tough. You know, I sold 3 houses. One of mine was part of that, but that house was mine. So I sold only 2 houses that first year, but it was enough for me not to miss that mortgage. The next year, I did 3.2 million in GCI. The next year, not gross commission, but in gross commission sales. So yeah, I learned that the first year was tough, and I didn't really know what my goals were. I just knew getting up and getting out of bed and saying, My kids are my big why. It wasn't enough, right? Knowing that and knowing that I needed to make those bills that every day I had to get up. Now, the next year was tougher though, because I told you, I made money. I was like, okay, I can do this. I had to push myself even harder, because then it got hard to do real estate again, because I didn't have that passion. I was paying the bill. Wasn't passionate about it anymore. It was gonna happen. That's when I learned, okay, I want my Airbnb. Now I have to make that plus this extra $40,000 so that family can approve me to get that Airbnb. So it became a part of my big why. So that just helps you to understand the big why and what I want you to think, how deeply I want you to go. Right? That Costa Rica vacation, wedding, that was a big part. That was part of my big why. Right? So I want you to think big. When I first thought about getting married in Costa Rica, it didn't seem attainable. It seemed like that's gonna be too expensive. Like, who does that? Right?
Where's your Airbnb?
But it's actually in Southwest Atlanta, like that 80-25. So it's like 15 minutes from here.
Is it open yet?
It is almost open.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm just trying to
We'll see the last picture we get this, right?
Yeah, I'm glad that this has been a whole, like, we did a remodel and everything.
So what's, and you'll tell us what the page
Yes,
is,
yes.
what it's called, and
Yes. There's a whole story behind the house. I'll tell you about it. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. All right, so now it's me. Okay, I walked you through how I visualize my future and what I want to do. So now I want you to visualize your future. All right, visualization is going to help you get closer to where you want to be in life. When I wasn't, in the beginning, I couldn't see it. Right? You say think it, and this. So I learned. Just thinking it isn't enough. Right? You have to think it, you have to see it in your mind, you have to think it, and you have to see it every day. Like that think bigger is on the wall. That needs to be on the wall, your big why, what I'm doing every day when you get up in the morning. So I need a volunteer to read for me our big future. Who wants to read it for me? Thank you. Okay, and just to note, today is the 17th. You'll need to-
Okay, so right down the date, 12 months from now, so August 17th, 23. Now, as in this date is today, your business is thriving, your life is everything struck up, your customers rave about the experience and the value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You're building the foundation and momentum for your entire career, gaining relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You're in the top agent in your market center, rookie of the year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% to grow your business. You are on a path to build a career worth having, business worth owning, and a life worth living.
So Matt, I'm getting ready to give you the steps to build a career worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living. All right, so turn to page 21. You're gonna get started. Write down the answers to these questions. Before we do that, hold on, my back. Because I don't think anybody told me that. Does anybody now start to have an idea of what their big why is? You got anyone? Yes.
I have a lot of big whys. I wrote all this stuff down, but I kind of changed it. So at first, I think my first thought was my son, that's your top priority, especially when you're a parent. But really, my big why is myself. And when I mean that in every way. And I'm a little nervous, sorry, y'all. I was diagnosed with lupus on 11/11/11. So ever since then, I've always had like death on my mind. I'm not gonna be here for my son. I'm sorry, you guys.
No, I don't even know what you're trying to do. This is what it's supposed to be.
And I do feel like family here, so I just, so my big why changed because I'm like, if I'm not healthy, I can't be here for my son and I can't reach these other goals that I have. And so my big why is healthy in every way. And one of them, thank you, one of them is financial. Yesterday I just got my tiny house. So I can move out of my duplex. But that was something super important to me, that I have the power to keep a roof over me and my son's head, but it's healing in every way, and I mean that, and I think, thank you so much tonight for inviting me to Keller Williams. I'm a new agent, you guys, so sorry.
Well,
I do feel in my mind, my heart, that my life is about to completely change because of my big why. Keeping healthy in every aspect of the word, mentally, emotionally, especially financially, but so I can be here for myself. So thank you. I didn't even know I was gonna say that.
thank you for sharing. Thank you. Anybody else have anything on how to spell it? Big Y and share? Can you share with me? We want to know your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Olivia DeJohn. Like the mustard. Thank you.
Okay. So like I said before, you guys take, yeah, you can mention.
Mine is, because I knew for about 20 years I wanted to do this, but it just wasn't possible until now. And, my husband in 2016, had cancer. And he was a fantastic provider. He's done everything for the family, and everything's great. But I kept thinking, he wants to retire at 65. So this will allow me to allow him without thinking, I have all these responsibilities. And it gives me time to make it happen if we choose, because we bought our retirement home and we want to be able to enjoy that. It gave me, inspired me, because he went through a lot. He went through a lot. Oh, that's so that you believe in miracles.
And so how many years away is that? 165.
6 years. I mean, he said he may continue working, but it gives both of us.
But that's your goal?
Yeah.
Is 6 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the goal for 6 years?
For him
To be able to retire.
For him to be able to retire. I wasn't sure.
Do you want to replace his income?
Well, I don't think we need to do it. He's just that type of person that he wants to take care of. He's an only child, and take care of his mom. We have 2 daughters. He's a great caregiver and provider. He's done things for my mom that I know people that haven't done it for their own moms. So he's just a good person.
Congratulations.
I know, make him proud.
Mike?
So I got to spend Saturday night with her and her husband on, we were at ran into each other at a certain place. Have drinks, and I got to meet him as well, and just incredible soul. I enjoyed our hour together as well. And I would challenge, I know everybody talks about retire. And we all have difference of thoughts or opinions behind that. But I was telling my mom, and I've been doing this for many years. My mom is 75 years old. In June, she did 150 in GCI. She's in Florida. And I always said, Mom, if you change the thought of that, just rewire yourself, work by choice, not by necessity. And you can do whatever you want to do, travel wherever you want to travel. And she goes, Mike, it's such a feeling that I can't imagine. In corporate America, I can understand that conversation. As an entrepreneur, I love what I get to do. And she just flew back from Brian, and I just always, it inspires me. That inspires me. And she's part of my big one.
That's why I say he can retire, because, right now he has 69 people that are reporting to him.
Yeah.
And he has to be there. So if I can give him that option, then he can either do what I'm doing, or I can pick and choose
That's right.
what I want to pick and choose.
Love
Mine is my mom, and bring like the next generation to her business, and let her eventually retire and to be like the agent and friend that she is to so many people. I know a lot of people. That's your mom.
Right there? Oh, okay, I see it now.
So, thank you all for being, for being open and sharing all of that. It's a lot, when you think and proud to share your big line. So now I want you to think about, and hopefully those answers will also help you all think about, what is your driving motivation? Like, why or the goal for a career in real estate? What will achieving your goal mean for you? In what ways will it change your life? And in what doors will it open for you? So think about those things. I was gonna explain those things, but I feel like everybody just kind of explained it. So that was easy done. So take 5 minutes. I'll give you guys just 5 minutes of quiet time and answer those questions. And if you're on Zoom, you should have this.
Progress.
Is that right? Anybody still working? That's fine. Okay, no, I'm not. Take a few more minutes. Gonna give you 1 more minute. Don't worry, you're still gonna have more time to write. I'm just gonna talk a little bit. No, that's good. Okay, so now we're gonna dream big. A dream big enough to scare you, What would your ideal life look like? What is your biggest motivator for creating that life? How will you feel when you achieve this dream? Why? Because you have just created your big why. I want you guys to spend some time on the next page, on page 22. Summarize your answers and write your big why. What dream do you have for yourself that's so big it's gonna scare you? What would achieving that dream help you do for yourself and for your family? And then, this is the cool thing that I haven't done before. Using your camera phone, take a picture of the big why. If it's your husband, you want him to be able to retire, your family, it's a long life, whatever that vision is, find it on the internet and make it your new background. So you'll see it and be reminded of it every time you use your phone. Write the answers to your questions. What could be in the way of achieving your big why, and how can you prevent that? Be prepared to share. I'm going to ask you guys to share. Remember, your big why can be huge. It could be something like curing lupus. It could be something for yourself, an Airbnb or a property in Costa Rica. It could be monetary. So those are some things for you to think about. 5 more minutes to do that. If you guys are done before me, just let me know what you want. Let's meet some more time. Good, you good. So hopefully today you were able to identify your powerful big why that will motivate you and inspire you to the next steps to grow your business. So I'd love to hear what you guys came up with. Is there anybody that's willing to share? To summarize big why. Okay. Start with you.
Yeah, my big why is my husband. And, very simple choices.
Choices, I love that.
That's it.
Okay, it's very well put.
I just want to organize my business enough that so it's sustainable without, so so I can't go abroad for a year, go to Costa Rica for a year, or something, and you know, we'll be just fine.
Anybody else want to share their big one? You look like
Sure, yeah, I don't know if I have like that. Anyway, so I wrote, my big why and motivation is to break through that mindset that money is a delicious thing to be here. I will show myself and my family that money is just a phase, but it doesn't mean to achieve all the things you never thought possible, like building generational wealth.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's what I'm trying to do. So the next thing that I would challenge you is how will you feel when you achieve your big one? What does that feel like? Free?
Yeah. I feel like once I achieve things for myself, I feel like I can teach others, and that's super big to me too. You know, so.
Knowledge. Yeah. Anything else, any other thoughts? Relief? I felt relief when I did right? So much stress that goes into all of that want to create. And you wake up in the morning, for me, at least, a lot of times, I woke up thinking, I could do it. Right? My mindset was, I can't do this. And changing that mindset to knowing when I do this, it's gonna feel like I can breathe. And I can't. So I changed my mindset to I can't do it because I need to feel that sense.
I put online that I wanted to provide that for me, to like others, especially to my parents, they've given me so much.
Continue, Costa Rica.
Yeah, she wants to be in the country.
All right, so turn to page 23. So now that we have our big why, we know what we want to do, we know how it's gonna feel. Now, we have to have a goal. We have to have a monetary goal to get there, right? Because it's gonna take money. That's what Mike always said. We're here because we want to make money, right? So now you know your big why. What will it take to fund your life in your big why? So that's, I'm not gonna ask you to share, so don't worry, right? Whatever number you want. Write down your monetary goal right here. Your monetary goal goes right here. And remember, this is important as real estate agents that we include taxes and expenses in that monetary goal. All right, so if we really think about that, we need $100,000, we have to make 125, right? Because we've got to take this real, the government. Let's remember that.
But first figure out how much you want,
Right.
then we'll go down to the next one.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. I had a coach, business coach once, tell me about, story about that, how you mentioned she got into real estate and was grinding and making money and spending it all and forgot to pay her taxes. And it came back because they shut down all the bank accounts, they got the wages, so yeah, that definitely can get you right. Okay.
So one of the big things is always put a portion of every single commission check into an account you can't get to easily. It's called the tax account. And I'm serious when I say make it that it's not easy for you to get to it. Because you think you're gonna do it. And everyone here is sitting here going, yeah, sure, I'm gonna do it. That'll never happen to me. Yeah,
It's
That's why.
exactly right.
it does happen.
And it's so easy to just spend it all and not think about it. Like that's the biggest thing about your money. It's not yours. When you get that commission check, you have to remember half of it's not yours. Half of
What
it's
life happens, COVID happened,
Mhm.
unexpected things happen. So whether you want to look at it in the big picture and say, okay, well, yes, something like COVID can happen,
Right.
or something more individualized can happen, yet not focus on that. Just know that, yeah, there's a reason that they take out those taxes when you're a W-2 employee, like thinking back to those days. If you ever were,
that they took money out.
Mhm.
Well, and then they are supposed to pay. Well, now we can do it.
Right, we own our own business, we have to do that.
We gotta do that for ourselves. We get to pay both sides, both sides of social security.
So now that you've got your monetary goal written down, let's look at what it takes to achieve this amount by calculating your average commission on each child dollar goal. So your net GCI is going to be the net of the market center split, but before expenses and taxes. So this example has an average sales price of 200,000. That's a lead for ease, but we all know that average sales prices right now are like 300,000.
Yeah.
For 200,000. Not even, I
You might find a lot.
I do Southside different, you cannot retire this problem.
Right.
Not even like a dilapidated shack, seriously, they could have to knock down.
So it's almost like just cross it out and put the 9,
Yeah.
the more realistic.
300,000, I would say, is your average sales price right now. And then average commission rate was, remember, you control, so it can be higher or lower, but the average commission rate is 3%. Using $200,000 average sales price, for average commission, your net GCI is $6,000. The average right now, yes. So in calculating your average commission in your market, this is where you can put in your own numbers if you want to. So if you want to use 475 or 400, whatever your average sales price is. If you're new, if you don't have an average sales price, I would say probably 350 is a good average sales price. Your average commission should be 3%. And then you're going to come up with your average commission.
That's another number that is kind of weird, because I think it's more like 2%.
With, well, that's 2%. Your commission is 2%?
Yeah, pretty, yeah. With the money.
Ah, I see what it says.
That's not what they're,
Okay, right, we're not putting that.
that's not what we're starting with.
Mhm.
Like saying what you start with and then have all your taxes taken out, which includes the split.
So we go there, don't worry, we're gonna take that out.
Okay. Right, so this is why it's starting like it is.
So
Well, that's
we're
gonna
gonna,
be now.
we want to put that 3% there. Are gonna take the market finish out. Okay,
You said the average sales price is 300,000?
about 350.
Oh,
So that, thank you, that was a great transition into factor in your market center. You want to remember that you are paying your market center. So, the GCI times 30%. This is capped at 20%, our market center capped at 15,000 instead of 20,000. And the royalty, which is your GCI times 6%, which is capped at 3,000. And our market center, so your total is gonna be 18,000 over 23,000. So right here, your market center capped at 15,000. Your total is gonna be 18,000. That makes sense, everybody have that? And if I go, I talk fast, so if I'm moving too fast, just raise your hand for me now. Okay. Next page, on page 25. So how many transactions do you need to reach your monetary goal? Your GCI calculator will assist you in calculating the number of transactions needed and your progress in meeting that number. You can do your calculation here. So for example, if I want to make $100,000, which was my goal, that was actually my goal that first year when I decided to invest in real estate, was $100,000. $18,000 is going to be my market center cap. So my GCI, I think I have to add that in, and you have to make $118,000. Your average commission is going to be $6,000, so you're going to divide that. 123,000 by 6,000 annual transaction goal. So you're going to take the number C, that's under C, and you divide it to get the annual transaction goal. So on page 26, we're going to give you 5 minutes to fill that out. Number B, your market center cap is going to be 18,000. You're going to add A and B together to get C. treasurer's permission for transactions, provide that by. Right?
I think it'll work.
It's where I know.
How many turn back? I mean,
That's the thing, I feel like when I do this, at the beginning of every year, I do this. Once I figure out how many transactions and my period says, and you break it down by the month. Right, and then I'm literally realizing that it's too many people that I need to meet, you have to break it down day by day, figure out what your goals are the day. And when you do that, you are surprised actually. But when you psych yourself out to think, I can actually do that. I'm just gonna people. And you won't.
so the amount of transactions I have, I should divide by 12.
Well, Jerry, I'll let you, give me about something. I would not say divide by 12.
Oh.
To be honest, I would divide by 10.
That's what I just told you. Vacation.
Yeah, because you're not gonna work all the time. For me, I have kids, we take a Christmas break, so, you know, I do still work in the month of December, but the end of December to the beginning of January, I don't count that star as my transaction goal.
And we're also taking education classes.
Right, so you're not working all the time, right? You work about 10 months a year. And if you're working more than that, you're gonna burn yourself out. I tried it. People burn out.
Take break.
One three seven is a huge thing that's been being passed around forever and a day. Almost 2 years now. One of the top coaches, is 1 day off a week, said we work hard. We're not 24/7. Okay, 1 day off a week, a 3-day weekend each month. Okay, knowing what he's talking about is Monday through Friday is your work week. If you decide you're gonna, work Saturday, that's fine. That's up to you type of thing. Or a different day. Or you can do that. Anyway, 1 day off a week, a 3-day weekend, and 1 7-day vacation every quarter. Vacation, staycation, point being phone off, emails off, texts off, no work.
And that's the big thing for each one of those that she said, which took me a long time to learn as a new agent. That 1 day off is 1 day phone off, no real estate. That 3-day weekend is a 3-day, no real estate. 7-day vacation, because even now I struggle to take that 7 days. And when I was planning my wedding, I'm in Costa Rica texting
Of course you were.
and scheduling things. So yeah, 7 days, no real estate at all.
Right, and you change, we teach people how to treat us. And if we're available all the time, we all have the option to do whatever works best for our business. Understand that the banks are not open. The Fed is not open Monday through Friday, other than Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Most closing attorneys close Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Yes, there's opportunities all over and everyone can do whatever works. If you work with different time zones, do what works for you. The whole idea here is to share, understand each other, know that just because you're working at midnight doesn't mean that everybody else is. And just because somebody's not taking phone calls after a certain time doesn't mean they're not working. It just means they're not working with you. Right. We're not.
Well,
There's times you don't want to negotiate,
True,
right?
to train people how to treat you and when to follow you and things like that, because I've had a hard time with that, like making boundaries. Because I always take a call at 9 o'clock at night, but I mean, that's absolutely true. I've had an agent in Austin last year, and she said that she takes 6 months off a year, and I said, what do you do with your clients? She goes, they wait for me. She's trained them. That she
Build a lot of trust
and
too.
this is when she works, this 6 months. And I'm like,
For the boundaries, you're welcome.
Well, it took us a long time. You know, it took us a long time. It took us all a long time to learn. And don't we have boundaries everywhere?
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason, there's a stop sign for a reason. It's not to fly through it. You know, and now understand, the other thing of this is if you go and say to somebody, you know, I'm not available. I've already got, nobody needs to know that your appointment is at the hairdresser. Or at the doctor's office, or at the lawyer, or at the, you know, wherever it might be.
Right.
Don't go posting your entire day, your entire 24/7 on Facebook and then expect people to be understanding. Are out flying a kite, but you can't show them a house. Or talk, you know, kind of, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can.
So it's like. I don't know.
Alright, so that was a great point, and that's a whole other class, really. I think we should
Yeah,
have
I
another
know,
class,
another
right?
class.
On how to do that. I have so many stories on what happens when you don't do that.
Don't we all, I mean, we all, we do.
Okay,
They wouldn't believe us,
Mhm.
right, Terry? You could write a huge book.
I agree. For real.
Well,
Does everybody have their transactions? Alright, so. Who's ready? So this is an easy one. Ready to tell me how many transactions you can make?
Your transaction is so scary. My number says 36
30 minutes, you did.
for the year.
Right now, mine says 28, but that's starting with the minimum. That's not my goal. My goal is to stay at average. So right now, it's
28 to start. Anybody else want to share? Here, 52. Oh, nobody's here when I grow up. I didn't actually do last year. You said, you know, back.
Terry, can I ask something really quick? How many concessions do you do a month?
Oh, it varies month to month, like this month we have 6 closings or something.
6%?
But last month I had.
How big is your team? I mean, like, for example, mine is 3 per month. That's it?
And then she had transaction. Yeah, I use the one, Amanda.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's always just a meeting, and
So-
I closed 63 transactions last year by myself. So that's why I was gonna hire essentially or do anything else.
Okay.
That whole boundaries thing.
So transaction coordinators,
You're
you
in
guys handle that all. Easy.
I keep telling her though, but I just started with her full time in January and I'm like, so sometimes the two of us are running around like crazy, so I don't even know how she does it by herself.
I would say
That's impressive.
4 is the max that I handle before I pull my hair out. I had 8 transactions in 1 month with no TP. And I thought, I was like, I couldn't. I was like,
Oh, yeah, no, you got to do your own.
yes, yeah, I know. That leverage is huge. I didn't realize, I could have done more at the beginning of my career. Had I spent the money on a transaction coordinator, right? That leverage allows you to do so much more.
And that's what I love about Hello Leverage, is you just pay per transaction. So if I have 1 transaction a month, I pay her, you know, $375. If I have 10,
At close.
you make, right, and you pay her at closing. So
Pay at
it doesn't cost you anything to get that leverage, but it's huge. And yeah, it's a big deal.
So here's a plug for how to leverage, like I always thought I couldn't afford to pay that $375 I needed. I was paying mortgage guys, that $375 wasn't like my mortgage. But what I didn't realize, I really couldn't afford not to. My business slowed down.
Yeah.
Because I didn't need that leverage. So
I would be up to 3 mornings trying to get my paperwork and to get my DA, you know, and it's like, yeah, no, that's $375 is the best money you'll ever spend.
well worth it, and I was definitely put in a business plan to make sure that we have that plan.
Yeah, I wish I would have done. Wait.
Okay, so now that we have our number, and we know how much we do, where is it gonna come from? How do we get that? Again, like I said, that is a whole other class. Talk about what we do with that, and hopefully we probably will have more classes to do just that, right, if you guys want to. If you let me know what you want to teach, what you want to hear about, be happy to share. We learned a lot in our first couple of years, just that basic, and it's basic. That's the most important thing. Whenever my business slows down, I slow down and I go back to the things that I start reading all of these things. you know, what Gary says, make those phone calls every day, right? So that's why I encourage you to take this number and figure out how many closings you need to get, how many contacts you need to have, how many conversations you need to have. Any questions, any ahas from today, anything that you realize that you weren't thinking about before you came today?
I think being around other agents and actually hearing their goals and like Karen's actually been doing it by herself. I think that just gives me a little bit more motivation and confidence that I'm able to do it too.
That's the great thing about Keller Williams. I mean, we always have these collaborative, you know, kind of classes, masterminds and things that agents willing to lead, you know, I mean, that's why I've been at Keller Williams for 16 years. I'll never be anywhere else.
Any other ahas? Is your big why, was that anybody have a new aha or a new big why that they didn't have before?
I never even really thought about it. That's why I wanted to do what I'm doing.
Good.
Maybe, yeah.
Mhm.
Motivation.
It is your motivation. Because real estate is hard. It's fun, I enjoy it, but there's been times when my clients kick my butt, they yell and scream in person at me, and I'm like, I don't do this.
Fire.
I don't want to do this anymore. And then I sit and I remember why I want to do this, right? Because of my kids, because I want to be able to give back to the schools. I do lunch for my kids' schools, the teachers, provide a lunch at the end of the school year, help them purchase a home if they want to. I do this because it allows me to give back the way I want to give back. Right? It allows me to give my kids the life that I want to give them. It allows me to have the time. Sometimes I get frustrated and my husband reminds me, do you realize that you have the flexibility to take the day off if you want to? You're having a bad day, it's too much. You can stop and take the day off. If you need to go to kids' school today, you have that flexibility. So as hard as it is every day, you have to remember, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna make those phone calls, I'm gonna touch base with people because it allows me to do those things that way. I've done breakfast, for Chick-fil-A, I was talking about $300 or $400. I've done a lunch where I did an elaborate salad, lunch, and that cost me about $900. But the thing that I learned to do was to, get somebody to help me out. So my ledger, I have them split it with me. Right, so you can get a lot of vendors if they, come with you, you know, get their face in front of some people, you know, if they want to refi, like, you know. So yeah, don't do it on your own. I did it on my own thing. But here's the thing, right? It's just like we're talking about how a leverage that $375. That $400, $900 I spent, and I did multiple schools. I closed probably 6 teachers that year. Right, so, and they, I mean, 6 teachers, their homes average between 300,000 and 400,000. So do the numbers. My investment,
Money well spent.
money well spent, and that took me a long time to figure that out.
Remember also to think that's part of your budgeting, putting money together.
Mhm.
You can't, you're not gonna spend the money on a transaction coordinator. And you're not gonna spend money to go pay for breakfast or lunch or something,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Because it's gonna be part of your budget.
True, and that's where we need to do a whole other business planning class, because that number that I asked you, like, how much do you want to make? You don't have to think about that, right? You have to plan and budget that. If I say I need $100,000 to live, and that's why I think all that money's not worth it, it's really 30% is really going to go to the cost of living, right? So you need to plan 30%. It's going to go into those teacher lunches, it's going to go into, you know, the transaction coordinator, and what you have to do. It is a requirement for the business to grow. You have to eat. Any questions? I forgot about Zoom. I'm sorry, but my first Zoom. I think I have any questions. No questions. All right. Any questions? Any other chats? I did this quickly. I apologize about this. No. I always talk about never let the best talk about myself. I'll work on it. Thank you guys. All right. So I guess pass it over. Let me know if you have anything else you want to chat about. Oh, yes, don't forget about my feedback ones, please. I do need those. Yay. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And take more lunch. We can back more back.
Yeah, I ended up having to do it. Oh, I already put that there. Thank you. You know what I always found helpful is in bold where they have you write a letter to yourself. So that's what I thought when we were writing down that, date.
Yeah,
Like, write that letter to yourself.
I was thinking about that when I was,
That's so much fun to get that letter.
it was amazing. I did bold last year. And to think of like in the bold was getting married, my Airbnb, and to think that those things like actually happen.
Letter, you're like,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
It is kind of cool.
In bold, when you take bold, you write a letter to yourself and then they take it and mail it to you and because you write, like, you know, they have a year from now and then you write, picture yourself a year from now and what you're gonna do it and say. So,
Thank you.
yeah, but this word, So, yeah, it's a very good point, because now that we have a plan, I would not be able to tell you how to do anything by myself. Because I used to do it by myself and then we switched systems and now I'm not.
So what is your email address?
Tonight, Tanaya at tanaya.com.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so that is a very valid point. Because seriously, I couldn't, if my transaction for new, with no new investor, all over too, but and you're a coordinator, but then she's on the thing that I never, somebody else to pick it up. So I never have to, I always, never know to do something. You know, when Sam and you do something, when you do a lot of water,